Good day everyone, we are the Group 3 from BAC 22 and for today's video, we are going to tackle and discuss all about the feature film. So, let's settle this once and for all. These are the reporters. I'm Coach Orlando Morales and this is Angela Marcela, Angelica Litton, Sherry Rodelas, and Ira Mulawin. In order to be able to refer to the term feature film, we must also know that it's a part of a film production. In other words, the group of specialists who are in charge of participating in making of a film. Cinema, besides being an art and an important industry, is also means of communication that had a great influence within society, and part of this great area is the feature film. When we see cinematographic production, we can realize that some of them have a shorter time and others a longer duration. And this is when we hear the word feature film. From context, you can probably understand what that means, but why do they say feature? Why is that distinction necessary? Exactly what is a feature film? We know as a feature film the audiovisual production or cinematographic production which has a minimum duration of 60 minutes. It's also considered as a feature film that production with a duration greater than 45 minutes is produced in a support format of 70mm with a minimum of 80 perforations per image. A feature film or feature-length film is a narrative film, motion, picture, or movie with a running time long enough to be considered the principal or sole presentation in a commercial entertainment program. The term feature film originally referred to the main full-length film, a cinema program that also included a short film and often a newsreel. Feature films are the movies from mainstream cinema or popular cinema. There are many things that define a film to be feature film apart from its length. Number one, entertainment is the first criteria. A film should be able to made for the sole purpose of entertainment irrespective of genre. If a film has factual, informational, or complete real incident footage, it is not a feature film. In this style of captivating, the movie makes a real difference. Many biopics are made such that they are feature film. Number two, there should be some fictional involved in the movie, else it would not be a feature film. The fiction can be inspired fully or partially from incident, but there should be some part of it that it is not real and just a fantasy of filmmaker. Number three, there should be some format involved with it. Dramatization, dialogism, and some kind of narrative. After all these points comes the thing of length, because the criteria of length varies from country to country and film institute of film institute. It can be the right way to describe the essence of feature film. Characteristic of a feature film. The most outstanding characteristic of a feature film are the following. Number one, they have a duration of 30 minutes or more. Number two, feature films longer than 45 minutes are produced on a 70 millimeter. Number three, they have a wide variety of classes of genre. Number four, the length of the feature film may also vary depending on the country in which it is made. Of feature films. The classifications of the feature films is quite extensive, and in order to make it, several different aspects are taken into consideration. In order to classify depending on the style, setting, format, or type of the audience, according to its style or tone. Drama are those films that focus mainly on the development of a conflict between the protagonists. Comedy, these are films that have been filmed to provoke humor, entertainment, and laughter in the spectator that sometimes had a reflective message. Action, these are films that have an argument that implies the moral interaction that occurs through violence or physical force. Adventure cinema, this type of cinema contains situations of danger and risk. Terror, these films are made to provoke tension and fear within the audience. Science fiction films, these are films that show the progression from the unknown to known through the resolution of a series of enigmas. Romantic cinema. These are films that refer especially to romantic elements. Musical cinema. Films that contains some small interruptions as they develop in order to introduce a musical fragment that can be sung or accompanied by a choreography. Melodrama. Films with a strong emotional or moral or emotional charge. Cinema catastrophe are films which have as their main theme the great catastrophe that have happened or may happen. Fantasy, films that contain a series of facts, worlds, creatures, or fantasy things. Pornographic, contains explicit sexual scenes. According to its setting, number one, historical. They tell us a story that happened in the past with the intention of making a historical recreation. Police film. This type of feature film tells us about the defeat of evil through police action. War refers to the battlefields and times of war. From the West are also known as Western. These are films that were developed during the colonial period of the United States of America. Science fiction films. They show us the space dominated by man or future civilization. Fantasy refers to the mythical worlds that are born from other imaginations. Sport tells stories in environment or event related to a sport. According to its format, animations. These are the films also known as cartoons that are composed of photograms that are drawn by hand and that create the illusion of movements. Real image or live action. These are films filmed with a real actors. It depends by types of audience. Number one, children. These are feature films aimed at children. Juvenile, feature films aimed at teenagers. Family, made with the intentions of attracting people at all ages. And the last one is adult, aimed at adult audiences. Much of its contents includes scenes of violence, threatening themes, shocking words, or explicit sex.
So now let's tackle about the history of feature film. What is feature film? Feature film is a movie with a running time long enough to be considered as the principal film in a program. We have here the first three feature films. The first feature film is The Crusaders. This is an Italian film from 1911 that was 4 reels long. Secondly, we have The Loves of Queen Elizabeth. This is a French film, another 4-reeler that megastar Sarah Bernhardt starred and made a ton of money in 1912. Lastly, we have Quo Vadis, a 1913 Italian spectacle that boasted huge crowd scenes and big special effects and ran 9 reels in length. As exhibitors began to show more feature films, the audiences saw these longer films as special events and were willing to pay more for admission. So let's introduce director D.W. Griffith. He fell in love with film, that's why he directed more than 450 reels in less than a decade. His biggest achievement is the film Birth of a Nation. This film paved way for feature-length films to become the gold standard. Therefore, the audiences demanded more like it and could no longer be satisfied with the half a dozen one-reelers. In 1930s, nearly all feature film-length movies were presented with synchronized sound, and by mid-1930s, some were in full color too. The American industry gave the so-called golden age of Hollywood.
Where did the term feature film originated? The term feature film originally referred to the main full-length film in a cinema program that also included a short film and often a newsreel. Paris, France is the first presented project moving pictures to a paying audience were the Lumiere brothers in December 1895 in Paris, France. They used a device of their own making, the cinematography, which was a camera a projector, and a film printer all in one. The first ever picture film is The Story of the Kelly Gang. The world's first full-length picture film was The Story of Kelly Gang, made in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia in 1906.
How long or what is the length of feature film? The term feature film originally referred to the main full-length film in a cinema program that also included a short film and often a newsreel. To be honest, there is no standard feature film length because it depends on which definition we choose to follow. A film may qualify as a feature if it is 40 to 80 minutes long, but usually features clock in at between 70 and 130 minutes.
Here are the example of featured film: The Godfather, 2001 Odyssey, and Singing in the Rain. This movie is under the featured because of this reason. First, those movies that I mentioned earlier had a duration of 60 minutes or greater, unlike the document film, who only have less than 45 minutes. Second, just like what Shirley told, that the featured films are fictitious. Some scenes in the movie are not really happen in reality. Even if the film is inspired by real events, the writers, the producers, have the creative freedom to incorporate fictional characters and situations. Lastly, this film will have a smooth flow and carefully structured actions and dialogues. The action and dialogues are never spontaneous, they are scripted and practiced in advance.
How do you mean? Rumors about...
So, I'll be explaining the difference between feature film and movie. A feature film or feature-length film is a narrative film. It's a motion picture or movie with a running long enough to be considered the principal or sole presentation in a commercial entertainment program. The term feature film originally referred to the main full-length film in a cinema program that also included a short film and often a newsreel. So most for the feature films are between 75 and 210 minutes long. So for a movie or a film is a type of visual communication scenario which uses moving pictures and sound to tell stories or teach people something. Most people watch movies as a type of entertainment or a way to have fun. For some people, fun movies can mean movies that make them laugh, while for others, it can mean movies that make them cry or feel afraid. So the difference between movies and film is that the movie is generally made for entertainment, attracting the maximum audience. The purpose behind movie is to earn profit, while the feature film is generally made for artists and is informative with a lesson. The purpose behind film is not to earn profit, while the movie is to earn profit. So a feature film is a film must have a running time or more than 40 minutes. A short film is any motion picture not long enough to be considered a feature film.
Difference between documentary and feature film. First, the definition of the both. Documentary is an accurate representation of real events, people, and situations, while the feature film is a film that tells a fictional story, event, or narrative. And the purpose. Documentary aims to educate, inform, instruct, and inspire the audience. Feature film aims to entertain the audience. Fiction versus reality. Documentary deals with reality, feature films with fiction. Difference between documentary and feature film. First, the definition. Documentary is an accurate representation of real events, people, and situations, while the feature film is a film that tells a fictional story, event, or narrative. Second, the purpose. Documentary aims to educate, inform, instruct, and inspire the audience, and feature film. Feature films aims to entertain the audience. Third, fiction versus reality. Documentary deals with reality, while the feature film deals with fiction. For the budget, documentary usually have a low budget, while feature films usually have a high budget than documentaries. Action and dialogues. Documentary may have recorded action, while the feature film always have a scripted dialogues and action. For the actors, documentary may use real people and real location, while the feature film may use actors and sets. A feature film is a film with a runtime 40 minutes or longer according to the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. A documentary film that runs 40 minutes or longer would be a documentary film, while documentary film that runs for less than 40 minutes would be a documentary short.
What is the importance of feature film? Feature films are the backbone of the movie industry, ranking in billions of dollars each year. Box office sales are higher than ever, as people are lining up to see movies in 3D, 4D, and big screen animation in record numbers. So these are the reference or citations of the links where you can see the information that we provide in our PowerPoint. And that's all for today. Thank you for listening. We do hope you all have a knowledge about this topic and learn more about feature film. Bye-bye.